Hey y'all, this is Amanda and welcome back to my Texas Zone 8A garden. And today we're going to be making a winter fairy garden to keep on my coffee table this winter. And I'm going to be giving you an update on my cheap Amaryllis and my cheap Paperwhites. Okay, so you guys might remember about 4 weeks back, I did a video on my Amaryllis and Paperwhites and how this year I just didn't want to spend the money on the really premium big bulbs. Now, don't get me wrong, those are wonderful, absolutely wonderful bulbs, and you can get a lot from them, right? But truthfully, at the end of each season, I'm terrible about taking my Amaryllis and putting them out in the garden and then trying to get them going until next fall where you have to bring them in. I'm just not into the process, y'all. I'm not very good at it. I forget about it, and it's not something I actually enjoy. So at the end of every season, I throw my Amaryllis and my Paperwhites away, right? Well, there's a lot of guilt with that, right? When you spend $25 for a bulb, you know, there's a lot of guilt just tossing that out the window, right? So this year I was like, okay, we're not going to do this again. It's ridiculous to be spending money like that for someone like myself who just throws it away. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to go the cheap route this year. I'm going to go with the big box store Amaryllis and Paperwhites. So I ended up purchasing my Amaryllis from Lowe's, and I got 3 varieties: Red Lion, Apple Blossom, and Minerva, and they are doing pretty good. I've got them planted up in thrifted brass containers. There's no holes in this. I know a lot of people were very concerned about me not having drainage holes. They've held together really well. They rarely get water. They just get a very little bit of water, and I do pull up the moss to check the soil underneath and how it feels, and it's all doing just fine. And so the containers have done well. I will say I've had some gnat issues, so I do have a little sticky thing in here to catch some gnats. And then I'm also trying to determine if I'm dealing with some thripes. I think that might be what they are, or aphids. But I did treat these for that. I just took them outside and sprayed them down with something that gets rid of that kind of stuff, and haven't had any issues since, so we'll see how that goes. But let's talk and take a look at each of these bulbs. Okay, the most obvious one is this one, and I believe this is either Apple Blossom or Minerva. I apologize, I didn't label them. But you can see I have one large, stunning stalk that has 1, 2, 3, 4 blooms inside it. It does have multiple leaves. I do not see an additional stalk coming up off of this one. It does have this random little guy coming off the side who's doing its own thing, but it's doing really well. I am messing around in here, and I am seeing the gnats coming up, but you know, that's something that's easily dealt with. But really pretty. I would say at least 2 feet tall. So pretty so far. So these were about $7 each, and it looks like I'm going to get 1 bloom off of this particular stalk. And that is one of the big differences between like some cheaper bulbs and some more premium bulbs. So premium bulbs will give you at least 2 stalks, sometimes 3, just depending on what's going on. But it looks like I'm only going to get 1 from this particular one. All right, I don't know which the varieties are because, like I said, I didn't label them, but I will say this guy right here has very few leaves. We got a few leaves down here. It has 2 stalks, so that's very exciting. Now, I will say, like, this particular stalk is shorter. This one's not seriously tall, but I'm actually okay if it's not really tall. I don't have vaulted ceilings in my house, so really tall Amaryllis actually doesn't really go very well with the structure of my house. But this one is looking really good as well, but I did get 2 stalks off of this $7 bulb. And then this guy right here is my lagger. He is taking his sweet time. He is producing tons of beautiful, gorgeous leaves, and we just now got 1 little stalk coming out here, and I get the feeling that this guy might be stunted. the stock has taken so long. Like this guy has been growing for the same amount of time that this guy has. Like this guy they started peaking out at the same time. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But like I said, I paid $7 for this bulb. But I will say the leaves are absolutely beautiful. I do check the bulbs to make sure they're not squishy and that everybody's in good shape. But so far, so good. And I am really enjoying them. And more than anything, I'm really enjoying that I spent $21 total for these three. That's what's really bringing me joy. I didn't go and spend $75 on 3 bulbs. So that's what I wanted this year. I thought it would be a fun experiment, and so far, so good. I'll keep you guys updated on that. Now, I did plant up a bunch of Ziva Paperwhites. Ziva are the highly scented Paperwhites, and they are what's most commonly available in big box stores. And they're doing really, really well. You can see that I'm about to get some blooms. I definitely have lots of bloom stalks coming out. It looks like I've had good results with just about every single bulb. Now, big difference. I have some that are super tiny still, and then I have some that are getting ready to bloom. Part of me is like, oh, what's wrong? What's going on? I think that I had this guy situated in a place where this kind of area over here wasn't getting as much light, and so it just has not produced as fast. However, I think that might be to my advantage, being that, you know, I'm going to get a round of blooms and then I'll trim back these bloom stalks as they brown out and they're done. And then I still have another flush of blooms going. So that kind of worked out to my advantage, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how that goes. But very excited, and I'll update you guys once these bloom as well. Okay, so what I want to do today is I want to make an indoor fairy garden with a winter theme to it. So a little bit of snow, evergreens, beautiful plants, just something that I can put on my coffee table and enjoy for a while. I do plan on taking this apart at some point, probably late January, something like that. And I'll repot all of the houseplants back into their original nursery pot. So I am going to be saving that. Did want to point that out. That is something you can do. You can reutilize your houseplants in many different ways. So I'm going to put this together and then I'll be able to reuse all of them in January. But basically, I'm going to start with this pot right here. It is a terracotta pot that I got from an estate sale. I got it for $20, and it also came with a metal stand, and I don't actually think the metal stand like belongs to this pot. I think they just stuck it in there. But it's a nice, good sized pot. I would say 16 inches. Which is really nice. It has a lot of really great patina, which goes very well with my house. My house has a lot of vintage and antique items, and so a brand new terracotta pot doesn't go as well, but this kind of beat up one very much goes with the style of my house. So I'm going to start with an indoor potting soil, and then I'm going to show you pictures of each of the plants as I get them in here, and we're just going to have some fun and then put this to some nice, you know, winter style music.
Christmas is on its merry way, and for every single child there's a gift on Santa's sleigh. The first flake of snow is said to fall today. The first snow this winter is promised for this day. It brings a hope of peace, both near and far away. It says we can live together, and that we can find a way. The first snow this Christmas is promised for this day. First snow of Christmas is falling from above. It's a sight of wonder, a magic time of love, and the joy found in each other. It bears a witness of the first snow of Christmas is falling from above. Oh, the first snow of Christmas is falling from
Okay, y'all, I am thrilled with the final result. I haven't made a fairy garden in quite a while. My daughter and I used to make them all the time together, and she just has a really busy schedule. And so she'd been chatting about this, and so I decided I'm just going to go ahead and make one. And the sweet little dancing fairy, it's inspired by my sweet little dancing Ivy, and she loves to do ballet. She loves to dance. And so I thought that was just lovely. And I know that she will enjoy looking at this throughout the entire season. The whole process was really fun. The little house is from Target last year, the dollar spot last year. The little lights I've had forever. The fairy I got on Amazon. But yeah, the little fake trees are from Amazon. But yeah, I think it turned out really, really good. I think the snow was the perfect touch. I don't think it would have had as much of an effect without the snow. As soon as you put the snow on, everything just came to life. I love how it's clinging to the different branches. I just think it's lovely. And of course, the lights are just beautiful. I forgot that this actually had a little light in the inside, so I did turn that on as well. And then I did make sure to tuck some snow back in this area. This is going to be on my coffee table, so I do want to make sure it's pretty from every side. Felt really good to make this today. All right, you guys, thanks for joining me today. And as always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.